Hi everyone, welcome back to another video on my YouTube channel. My name is Josh, and today we are going to be looking at all my carnivorous plants in my grow tent. So let's go ahead and get right into this tour video. Alrighty everyone, let's go ahead and start with this absolutely gorgeous hybrid here from Exotica Plants. This is Ventricosa sabinensis burkii jacquelinii. Could strongly see the jacquelinii hybrid in this upper picture here. It is so gorgeous and the pictures just last forever. This picture is several months old. Unfortunately, it does not like to make pictures often, so this is the only picture it's made for a long time. And you can see how tall it's gotten. So I'm really hoping it at least flowers maybe, or makes another upper picture. Keep making tendrils and looking like they will, but it almost never does. So that would be a really cool hybrid to see make another picture. And it also has a basil down there, so hopefully this will make one. Yeah, let's move on. Up here we have Gracilliflora, also known as Alata B from EP. What a beautiful and simplistic species this is. You got the red body, quite tall, kind of bulbous at the bottom here. And then the interior is just creamy. Very cool. And that peristome is also that creamy color, but it will get a little bit red as it ages. It's a really, really cool plant. Right beside it here, it's not looking the best right now, but this is Song of Melancholy crossed with Clipiata. You can see it is basically a perfect mix of all the parentage. You get the Song of Melancholy with all this nice coloration, and the Clipiata comes in with the shape and the leaf shape as well. You also start to get peltations, starting to get a little bigger, but see some peltations there. I just spilled the contents of a pitcher. This is the latest one. It's not the most flashy, it's not as red as the previous, and it's certainly not as big, but still kind of beautiful. Next to it, nothing much to look at right now. This is still working on a picture. This is Ventricosa crunculata morelliana. It's a really chunky hybrid. And then if we were to take that hybrid, cross it with Ventricosa again, we get this guy. So this is Ventricosa cross Ventricosa crunculata morelliana. Both are EP plants. Next to it, I'll go wide angle for this one from how huge it is. This one is Nepenthes maxima. This is BE 3067, and it is like 2 feet across, super vigorous, puts out huge leaves, and its pictures will get big, but mine's still making one. You can see it is getting a pretty thick tendril down towards the base, which tells me that it is going to be a big pitcher. Needs a lot of structural support for that. So that's really cool to see. And if you notice behind it, there's pegboard. You can see I put up some pegboard shelving right here and then also over there. We'll get to that in a second, but right up here is Ventricosa Madja as. Really cool species, almost looks like burkii. It's really cool. And beside it we have a basil cutting of Peltata BE 3464. Just popped a picture a few days ago, so I'm going to get it out, sit it down, and look at it. Really cool, really fuzzy. It's a very bright red pitcher with stripes. Still pretty small, and the mother plant is much bigger, but unfortunately does not have any active pitchers at the moment. It should make some soon though. It did accidentally break a good portion of growth point, but it didn't look like it'll set it back too far. So that's at least good. Put that back real quick and continue with the tour. On this side you can kind of see I made an L table kind of thing, L shelf. This is LVB VMV crossed with Platychiva. super cool hybrid. Starting to become a really, really nice peristome in shape. And it's gaining some size quick. The next one that was over there is Glandulifera veitchii spectabilis veitchii. This thing has become insane. Just look at those stripings and the shape of the peristome. It is really, really nice. You can actually get some red speckling in the leaves as well. I'm just waiting on the next few pictures to actually get some flare. And then it'll be a really killer hybrid, but it is gaining some size. So we'll see what happens in the next few pictures. And this one is one of my favorite hybrids in the tent. It is super dark, super nice. This is Truncata squat crossed with Nebularum. This is one of the newer EP hybrids. I'm just trying to get some cat hair off of it. But Little Leaf Jump came onto it, and it's going to be making a really nice picture from it. Truncata squat crossed with Nebularum. And then next to it here we have more pegboard, but there's no shelving on it. It's just hooks with drills holding the pot. This one is Spectabilis veitchii from California Carnivorous. It's the BE clone. It's getting some good size on it. Puts out these really nice pictures. There's another one coming along over here. It's really cool. Feels like I could use some water in the next day or two. Already went over that guy. This one here is Spathulata spectabilis. This is one of the older pictures. It is extremely stripy and flashy when it first opens, but then it bronzes out to this, or ages out to this nice red bronze color. It's really quite cool. And again, it's starting to get some size. It's been in my collection for a long time. It did horrible in the very beginning. And you can see this big plant here. And a Lowii truncata picture. I went to a the Red Leaf open house, and they were just giving out like dead pictures, so I decided to grab a Lowii truncata. So that's pretty neat. If you haven't seen my video on the Red Leaf open house, where I just do a little walkthrough without any commentary, it's really cool to check out. You can see the plants that this came off of towards the end as well. So go check it out if you haven't already. I kind of just have that filled with a little bit of water so it lasts a little longer and just sat on top of this pot. This is Ventricosa sibianensis crossed with Ventricosa Lowii ventricosa. It is one of my all-time top hybrids right now, and well, it looks just like a more colorful ventricosa. And wow, that peristome is amazing. I did take some cuttings of it. It had 4 basils, so I left 1, cut 3. So after this guy flowers, which it doesn't feel like it will, but I feel like it could soon. After it flowers, I'll take vine cuttings and then let the basil grow nice and big. This one is really cool. I say that with all of them, I'm realizing. This one is Ventricosa. This one has been in my collection for a very long time, and actually, take a look at another Ventricosa here, but it was like half this size when I got it around 2 years ago. So you can see what 2 years does to a Ventricosa. It sprouts a bunch of different growth points and just kind of trails all over the place. If you go back to my first tour video I ever did on my YouTube channel, it should be my first video I ever released. But you can see how big it was back then. Well, it wasn't really big. But now it's making upper pictures from the main vine here, and then large lower pictures from one of the base shoots. It's really freaking cool to have a lower and an upper right next to each other. This guy here, another EP cross, but this is Peltata crossed with Platykyla. This is an intermediate picture, and it is pretty interesting to see. As you know, Platykyla has very dimorphic pictures when it comes to the basal growth versus the vine, and it gets an extremely flared, almost landing pad like peristome in the upper stage. But Peltata, one of the other parents in this hybrid, doesn't make upper pictures at all. So I'm pretty curious to see what happens. The lowers kind of just look like a big, pale platykyla. But you can see it's starting to vine. Very, very fuzzy. And even has a little basil down there. It probably could use a repot pretty soon. But its next picture that it'll be making after this one has that tender loop, so I'd say it's an upper. Just gotta wait and see what it looks like. Here we have Ventricosa lowii. This is the Christian Klein red clone. I think this is the most common clone going around in cultivation. But it's really cool, pretty tough picture. You can see it's kind of just growing on its side there, just hung up by pegboard. You can see a little basil coming up. That's cool. Really nice coloration on that. There should be a new picture growing somewhere around here. Maybe. I don't know. And next to it there, nothing really to see yet, but that is a new EP hybrid that they recently released. It is Sibunensis crossed with Maxima Offipiata. Should be really cool, should be squat. Yeah. Also, it came with a second one, a really small second one in it, and this is it. Up there, nothing really cool to see yet. Oh, just bumped my phone. But this is Platykyla. It's been making weird pictures for me, and I've kind of just let it be on its own in the corner there doing its thing. We've got some really cool hybrids up here. Oh, I'm kind of reaching far. This one is Peltata crossed with Maxima Stenophylla lowii Rocovicii. Really colorful. Takes after Peltata, but gets a lot of striping from the Max Steno Low Rocovicii parentage. I did buy a second one of that. They're very vigorous. Todd's Tropicals and Carnivorous made that. Check him out on eBay if you want some really cool and affordable plants. But he made that, and they're both seed ground. This one doesn't have any pictures on it, unfortunately, but it will soon. Just wanted to see the genetic variation between the seedlings I got. There's two more on this little basket. This is Bocarensis cross Vicii Candy Dreams. Looks like I over-fertilized that one a little bit. But vigorous one, and it does not mind being dried out for long periods of time because that Bocarensis parentage. This one next to it, I won't get it out because it's really nothing special, but it has an extremely long name. Rocco exotica Boschiana, Rocco exotica Boschiana, Rocco Zacchaeus Pictapus Trismatiensis. Long name. It should get a really thick peristome. My buddy has it, and his looks amazing. Next to it here's an old picture on Vicii Ime. This is a Christian Klein cross. It might be seed grown. I'm not sure though. But you can see something interesting happening with the leaf. It actually split in two, became two heads on a leaf, or two tendrils. So that's pretty weird to see, and both are making pictures from it. So we'll see what happens there. Here is Vicii Malio Basin. Really nice all green Vicii. Very tall neck, which I love. Vigorous grower too. If we move down below, we can see a nice truncata alba picture. Very nice truncata form. It's also known as F alba. Put up this nice new leaf, and hopefully that picture will be bigger than this one. Might have leaf jumped a little bit. This guy is one of my all-time favorites in the tent right now, and well, you can see why. It is just an amazingly flared peristome. bright coloration, super stripy, very thin body. This is Lowii Veitchii Boschiana crossed with Veitchii Maxima Veitchii LVB VMV. Amazing picture. So much better than this insane one. So, just put up this big leaf jump, so I'm pretty excited to see the picture that results from that. And see if we can find it here. There is a basil going on under there. It's just barely putting up its first leaf. I'm pretty excited. My friend has already claimed it. So hopefully that is a success when I cut and root. But super cool ones, very vigorous grower. Very excited to have that in my collection. We'll take a look at the other big one I have here in a bit. Let's see a little Singolana picture. It's a basil off the main vine. You can see it starts over there, vines up, vines up, vines up, vines up, and eventually ends in this flower. It's a female clone, 3170 I believe. Pollinating it with this ventricosa. It's a male. Then I'm also, if it comes in time, the pollen, will be putting Veitchii on it. A nice pink lowland Veitchii. So hopefully that turns out really nice. This one here, sad to see there's no active pictures on it right now. I over-fertilized the one I had. But it's very close to popping a new one. Maybe give it another week or two. They always tend to look like they're just about to pop any second, but then they take an extra week or two. But this is Mira. It is a female AW clone. You can see it has a little basil, and it's just starting to pop its first pitch on it. So it's really cool. Really hope it flowers again. Flowered one was like half the size, making pictures off this size of leaf here. So it can definitely flower at a small size. Taking a look at Peltata already, but moving it over to show this really cool picture. This is Raja crossed with Aime. Really nice picture. Absolutely love this cross. Has a giant lid. Very happy to have this in my collection. Did make a bit of a leaf jump here, and then it is forming, if I can get pictures out of the way, it is forming a new picture there. So very excited to have this one in my collection. This is a Flore collaborative creation and clone. So that is really cool. Over here, that's a lot of Maxima. Really cool plants. I won't bother getting the newer pictures out. They're kind of buried all over the place, but starting to vine up again. And see the vine ends there. Really hope it flowers again soon. It is a male. I'd like to put that on a few things. Look at that big queen. Most of the plants from here will be smaller nepenthes, but let's check out some aeroids real quick. It's Anthurium Veitchii, King Anthurium. Starting to leaf jump, and this is the first big leaf for me. They've always been making smaller leaves like that. But finally put out this really nice leaf that actually has surpassed in size my other Veitchii that was bigger. This Veitchii is struggling. I don't know why. The leaves just get tangled up down before they unfurl, and then they just damage themselves. Used to be good, but I think I just need to give it time. Anyway, back to the big Warrock. Let's go wide angles to get it all in frame. Massive, massive leaf. I really shouldn't measure it. I'm gonna go measure it real quick. Okay, just measured it, and it is 20 inches long. I think it might still be expanding a bit. It doesn't feel quite as tough as the other older leaves, so Probably still has a little bit of growing to do. But it is massive and I love it. You can see the stem there is getting thick. You can see a little cuticoinces. It's not doing too well for me. If you have any tips, please let me know. But it's like the new growth just burns. I don't know why. I did have it a little too close to a light, I believe, which could be the reason, but it's been a while since I moved it, and well, it's not really growing anymore. So any help would be greatly appreciated. Let's get into the small seedlings now, or smaller plants. I'm trying to get this one out. This one is Spectabular Aristo. Really cool one. Gets that Aristo look shape. Get out of the way, queen. Gets that Aristo look shape really greatly. And then also gets that Spectabular coloration. Spectabular hybrids get really, really dark sometimes. So, yeah. Gotta put that back. But it did make a basil. We already looked at this Ventricosa earlier. That's a seed grown one from EP. Let's see, this is Robcantlii veitchii. Really stripy and looks like it's going to be squat, so pretty excited about that one. This is a predatory plants cross called Royal Vortex. I'm not a fan of their naming system. It kind of just is confusing. It's like trying to relearn the Latin names for these really cool plants. This one is Burbigiae mira, no pictures. That one's Burbigiae, also no pictures. I have a few veitchii just sprinkled around, but this one's KXM from UD Grows. Go check them out. Some of these are just not looking the best. Some are just not very notable. We got Leonardoi hiding back there. It has a fungal disease or something, so it's kind of just being shaded out by the war rock right now because I just treated it with fungicide. So hopefully it gets better. Wish me luck. Here's another veitchii. This is another predatory plant. Well, that's a Valiant Vortex. So it should be really cool. And it looks very vigorous, as you can see from the leaf jumps. This guy's for sale. That's Ventricosa sibuensis, Ventricosa lowii, Ventricosa crossed with Mirabilis varglobosa. And I'll put a picture on screen of what the parent plant looks like. This is actually a basil cutting. But it's not growing the best because it's in intermediate conditions. I'd much rather lowland. Got an Alocasia frydek. Nice velvety leaves. This one unfortunately doesn't have kind of has a weird looking active picture, but that's Lowii veitchii Bashiana Burbigiae crossed with Lowii veitchii Tiviae platykyla. It's a long name. Really cool hybrid. This one is notable because it has a long name. Spathulata Jacqueline crossed with Rocca Bashiana veitchii Lowii veitchii Bashiana maxima mira. Should have really nice peristome. Little Sibuensis. This middle one here is Truncata crossed with Truncata. No, it's Truncata crossed with Lowii truncata. And the two seedlings towards the corners there are LBV crossed with or what is it called? Spathulata edwardsiana. Lowii Bashiana veitchii crossed with Spathulata edwardsiana. There we go. Saying all these names is getting a little tiring for my tongue. Here's another KXM. Here's Mollis veitchii. There's two of them in there. Really cool, starting to gain some size. Here's one that I'm trying out in Akadama. This is Hamada. Started quite rough, but it's finally putting in a good healthy leaf. So pretty excited to see a picture. There's Palawanensis, just popped a new picture, and unfortunately its best pictures are starting to die off, so that's a little sad, but I'm glad I get to show you at least the little bits of peristome it's showing. It's kind of toothy and pretty stripy. Got some random lowland hybrids just kind of inching along in here. This is VGI crossed with VGI Burbigiae. This one doesn't really have a good picture. It's starting to make them, but that's Singolana crossed with LVB. Oh, we got Gracilis here. This is a red cross black form from Red Leaf. Seed grown. Really cool. I don't think it minds being in intermediate conditions either. We got a Heliumphora minor. Looking good. Got some cuttings back there. This big plant here has a massive pitcher. This is Boschiana crossed with Goliath. This is a huge 11.5-inch pitcher. And believe it or not, this is still the shipping pitcher. And it's just absolutely perfect and flawless. Really quite a cool hybrid. And the parentage of Goliath is Sibianensis cross Maxima cross Morelliana truncata. So hopefully it gets bigger. Right below its leaf here is Raja Mira. Really freaking cool hybrid. Looks exactly like Raja pretty much. So if you want a Raja but don't have the patience to grow one or the conditions, definitely try a Raja Mira. Jamban Dubia vine, no pictures on it. It's a picky one. Here beside it is a Lowii Ventricosa EP. No pictures on it, but it's working on it. It's a new cutting. But you can see how much of Lowii is influencing the upper pictures right now. So, very cool to see. Have a little Glabrata next to it. Tiny little guy next to one of the largest pictures in the grow tent. Have an orchid growing right here. That's Masdevallia amplexa. It's a cool miniature orchid with like purple flowers. You can see it's sitting on this LVB VMV. This is the big LVB VMV I was talking about earlier. You can see it's massive and actually flowering. It's a male. So that's cool. It doesn't seem to have a growth point after the flower, just another little flower bud, so I might have to take cuttings of it after it's done flowering and producing pollen, but there is a basil, so we're good. Just kind of sad we get to lose this big growth here, but hopefully it'll make a picture or two before that happens. Right here is what is it? Lowii. No, it's VGI Lowii Rob Cantley. Really nice one. Gets massive when it's mature. So now it's leaf jumping. Just gave this big pot. There's an ant plant. See the bulb or whatever they call it. No good pictures on this one. That's VGI Lowii Spectabilis. Got a vine. A nepenthes vine just kind of weaving around. That's Maxima Sibianensis Trismatiensis. Hasn't made a picture in a while. You can see this Amorphophallus just chilling here. This is Bulbifer. Really cool looking stem. Got it from Pearl River Exotics and it has a beautiful leaf. Really love it. Fresh cutting from the prop box. This is Boschiana Mira. Still doesn't have really much roots on it, but I decided to get it out of the prop box in its own pot. Here's a new picture on Song of Melancholy crossed with Spectabilis thaliensis. Opens up super dark and stays dark. A lot of truncata, also known as Saint Conrad. No pictures on it. VGIM. This is kind of a stress picture right now. Normally it has extremely red and very colorful pictures, but I gave it a hard repot and then put it in this very chunky mix, which it's not used to, and I'm not used to it as well. And then it kind of just dried out too fast and I didn't notice. So kind of took a fall, but it's working on its new leaf and hopefully a nice picture comes from it. This one's a very new plant from the Red Leaf Open House. I'm very excited to have these kind of genetics in my collection now, but this is Ventricosa trismaniensis wide peristome crossed with Edwardsiana Mari Pari. So, insane hybrid. I'm going to zoom in so you can see the teeth. It is so cool. And I'll show a picture on screen of the slightly bigger one Dominic has in his collection. It looks amazing. Can't wait for that to make bigger pictures, and it seems to be pretty vigorous. Got it for steel, so thank you, Dominic, for giving me such an amazing deal. That's Ventricosa sabinensis. Really cool one from my buddy Esteban. I just fertilized it, so it's pretty heavy. And let's see, I think we've pretty much covered everything on this table here. I'm not going to bother with this stuff. That's kind of just like sale stock, begonias, a few sundews, some cuttings. And we won't really bother with this stuff either. That's kind of just sundews, some pinguiculas. The lights are off down here because it's kind of late at night. But got glandulifera. This is a seed-grown variety from EP. Just turn the flashlight on. But glandulifera. What else do we got? We got this sanguinea that's gaining some good size. It just popped this picture, which is great. I looked in the viewfinder on my phone and I literally thought I was holding a banana for some reason. Kind of does look like one. We got St. Pacificus. I can't remember the parentage of this specific cross, but that's what it's called. I'm going to pull this one out because it's cool. Got this one from my buddy Shay out in Hawaii. This is a minima cutting. See how absolutely gorgeous it is. And I put up a nice leaf jump. Alrighty everyone, so that's going to conclude this tour. I hope you all enjoyed, and sorry for such a long video, but my collection has grown since the last time I made one. But we're just ending off on this gorgeous LVB VMV again. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.